Hi, it's Leanne Spencer. Hope you're doing well. Picking up on that series of Cadence conversations. Last week, I teed it up with the idea of the business athlete. We then talked about the first phase of the Cadence Approach, which is predict. I asked you the question, when are your Wimbledons? When are the big events coming up for you professionally, but also personally? So if you've identified a big event, quite often it'll be things like quarterly sales results, or we're moving house. And as a family, we'd love to be ready for that. So it's great that you've got something nailed down, something coming up that's really important. But of course, there's things we can't predict, things we don't see coming that blindside us. So when we focus on the prepare phase, which isn't just about getting ready for something we've identified in the future, it's also about staying in a basic state of readiness. And how do we do that? Well, we have 1, 2, or 3 non-negotiables. Things we do every day that keep us in a basic state of good health, mental, physical, emotional health. For example, some of mine are I like to get between 7 and 8 hours of good quality sleep every night. I can't always control that, but where I can, I do. The second thing I'll do is I'll have a green smoothie every morning. I know that I'm going to get a ton of good stuff, some berries, some flax seeds, some protein powder, some creatine. I've got that in. If lunch isn't great, not so much of a problem because I've got that good, decent smoothie in for breakfast. And then the other one is about step count. So I like to do a certain number of steps every day, predominantly because it's good for my overall fitness, but it's also good for mood and energy. We know that even a 10-minute brisk walk can improve mood and energy for up to 2 hours afterwards. So they're mine, but yours could look completely different. So what are they for you? And I think the sort of categories to think about, because what we're trying to do here is build our bulletproof. We're trying to make sure that we are resilient. We have good stress resiliency to deal with the rigors of daily life, the rigors of working life, the rigors of everyday life, that we're getting ready for a specific event, but we're also staying ready for the things we don't see coming. So the categories to think about would be strength. It could be physical strength, that could be mental strength. Broad category, you define it as you will. Health, energy, mood, motivation. So to give you some examples, for me, strength is a physical thing. So I've got a PT session in a week and an additional session. Health, I think the single biggest thing I can do for my health is to wear a mask next to busy streets. I live in London because of the environmental pollution exacerbates my asthma. So that's what I've gone for. Energy, I'm looking at food. I'm looking at movement. Mood, I'm looking specifically at food for that one. 3 solid meals a day, nothing that disrupts my blood sugar too much. And then motivation is about charity work and it's about pursuing a new sport, which in my case is golf. And that's great for a whole host of things, certainly a learning curve. So that's what I would suggest you focus on. Strength, health, energy, mood, motivation. Focusing on 1 or all 5 of those will help to build your bulletproof, which helps us not just to stay ready, but get ready for the events that you've identified. So we talked about predict last week. This week, prepare. Next week, we'll talk about perform and the necessity of respecting your red flags. I'll see you then.